Welcome to this month's edition of Highlights. We will be presenting some very helpful and interesting information about tax exemptions and plans to get back in person into the programs for EHS and COA.
First of all, Anita is going to give us the information about tax exemptions for your property tax and also the tax deferral program. Anita is extremely qualified to impart this information because she worked in the assessor's office for over 30 years.
So I just would like everybody to understand that these exemptions are very confidential. Any of the information that you provide in order to get these exemptions is confidential. You will need to provide a Social Security slip and a bank statement for someone in the assessors to look at. They do not keep it, they give it right back to you. And I spoke with Kathy this morning, and she doesn't want any of your personal information in her office anywhere. So everything is very confidential. So let's get started.
Okay.
There's a variety of exemptions for qualifying taxpayers: elderly, blind, disabled, surviving spouse, orphaned children, and veterans, as well as a tax deferral. We'll start with the senior exemption, clause 41C. This exemption reduces your local property tax liability, but you have to be 65 years or older in order to qualify. There is income and asset requirements. Your income for a single person is $20,000, and for married it's $30,000. There's also an asset requirement of $40,000 for single and $50,000 for married, and that excludes your house. And like I said, documentation must be provided. The first year, if you qualify, you would get $500, and then the second year, if you qualify, and every year after that, it's $1,000.
And what determines the amount of exemption?
In years past, it used to be a $500 exemption, and that's the state exemption. And the town meeting has voted that after the first year of applying, the exemption is doubled for everyone. So if you're getting $500 the first year, which is the state exemption, the following year you'll get $1,000 on this particular exemption.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that you might need Social Security information and bank statements. You would need that kind of information for this exemption.
Yes, you bring that in, fill out your application, show the assessor's office this information, and they give it right back to you. Nothing is kept in the office. And having worked there for 30 years, the person who was dealing with you with the exemption, filling it out, they're the only one that sees your application. When it goes in front of the Board of Assessors to be accepted or denied, all of the qualifications have been met, and the person in the office simply says, yes, this person qualifies. The Board of Assessors does not see your application.
Okay, that's good. And you have other kinds of exemptions.
Yes, we do.
You said you had a long list.
We have a very long list. Now we'll go into the veterans exemption, and this will take some time. In order to get the veterans exemption, you have to have at least a 10% or greatest service-related disability. So you would have had to get some disability based on your service to the country in order to get this exemption. and you have to give a VA letter to the assessor's office stating the percentage of disability that you have. And I forgot to say at the beginning, all of these exemptions are required to apply for every year.
Oh, okay.
So if you apply once, that doesn't mean you're qualified. You have to apply over and over and over. Once you have applied and you have an application, every year the assessor's office will send you a renewal a renewal application. So it's the first time you have to come in and bring everything. The amount is $400 for the first year and $800 for every year thereafter that you would receive. There are several exemptions, and they are a loss of a limb or an eye, the loss of use of both limbs and both eyes, total disability requiring adapted housing, a widow or of a soldier who was killed in action can also apply. And then there's 100% disability, veterans disability. And if the VA sends you a letter that says you're 100% disabled, then you would qualify. And the exemption, the first year is $1,000, and the second year and every year thereafter it's $2,000.
So that's for 100%.
That's 100% disability.
Disabled. Okay.
Yes. And the veterans agent in Boston sends these out on a regular basis. You have to ask for them. The assessor's office does not ask for them. You need to ask for them, and it's generally within 30 days you get it, and then you bring it to the office.
And the minimum is the 10%.
Minimum is 10%
10%
disability.
Okay.
And we do have a lot of veterans in the 10% or 30%. And some of those things in the 10 and 30% would be your loss of hearing. You know, you have problems with hearing, or you might have PTSD or something like that, to a 10%.
Right.
And they put that right down.
Right. And now you have more.
Yes, we have more. And those of you who are not veterans, there are blind exemptions. The blind exemption, you need a certificate from the Division of Blind in Boston. It's a state agency, and they will send the form directly to you, and then you bring it to the assessor's office with the application. And there is no asset or income requirement. It's $500 off your taxes the first year and $1,000 off every year. You must have owned and occupied the house as of July 1st of the year that you're asking for, so you have to be a legal resident of Massachusetts.
Okay. And that's for being declared legally blind.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's another one. And more.
And then we have the surviving spouse, which is clause 17D, and that reduces your property tax. You have to be 70 or older in order to receive this exemption, and the exemption is 175 up to 350. You can get it if you're over 70. Your surviving spouse can get it. A minor whose parents are deceased can also apply to get it. There are no income limits. There are asset limits.
Oh.
And the asset limit is no more than $40,000.
Not including the house.
Not including the house.
Okay.
And if you're filing, you must have owned and occupied the property for at least 5 consecutive years.
Okay.
Documents required are copies of your Social Security earnings and a copy of your bank statement, just to show how much money you have, you know, certificates that you might have, and things like that. If you are a veteran and you are married and you qualify for one of the veterans exemptions, and your wife, say, is over 70, she can apply for this surviving spouse. She can also apply for the elderly 65 and over, and you can get both of them, not to exceed $1,000 the first year and then double the second year. So there are limitations there, but both husband and wife can apply if the husband is a veteran.
Okay.
Otherwise, you cannot get two exemptions. The other thing that works that for the people who have senior tax work-off hours in the past, we haven't started that in the EHS yet, but for the senior workers, you can have your senior work and you can also apply for these exemptions.
Okay.
So being a senior worker has nothing to do with applying for an exemption.
So for some of these exemptions, you can double up with especially on the veteran piece of it, and it's certainly worth asking at the assessor's office what you qualify for.
Oh, definitely ask. The problem I used to see in the assessor's office is not enough people knew about it,
Right.
so not enough people applied, and then when they couldn't pay their taxes and they would come in, then we would catch them and we would get them into this program.
Okay. And you have one more?
And then the one that we have left is the tax deferral. And I really want to let people understand, it sounds bad when you're deferring your taxes and people don't like to have a lien on their property, but this is a really, really good exemption for elderly people who are on a really limited income. And you can defer a portion of your tax every year, or you can defer all of your taxes as long as you meet the requirements of income and assets, which I don't happen to have here today. When you defer, it's set up with you and the treasurer's office, and you fill out the application once a year. The treasurer keeps track of the tax owed. And at the end, when you sell your house, or if you die and it goes into the estate, then this tax has to be paid plus 1% interest.
Oh, that's a good program for some people.
It is a good program.
Like you say, if you've got a limited income and you want to stay in your own house, you can defer your taxes or a portion of your taxes every year, and there's a certain limit on your income.
The only thing is you can't defer more than 50% of the value of your property.
Okay.
So if the value of your property is $300,000, then you could defer up to $150,000.
Okay. And then it's paid out of your estate or paid out of the sale
of
if
the
you
property.
sell your house.
Right. And the town gets the first dibs in a house sale with this lien or in the estate, so that the tax is paid to the town.
Yeah, so they get their money. Okay.
The other thing that we are going to do this year, after talking with the assessor's office, is we're going to put applications for all of these and the qualifications for all of these in the EHS office, so that everyone in the office will have the ability to help any of you who come in to fill out the applications. Because a lot of you bring in most of the information when you're applying for fuel assistance or whatever, and so at the same time, you can fill out one of these applications. And in order for the deferral to come off of your taxes, the application must be in by November 1st. And then it would come off of your third and fourth quarter bill. However, if you don't file it until, say, January or February or March, then you will receive a refund check.
Oh, so you can.
You will get it
You can
because you can apply from July 1st to April 1st. But if you want to have it taken directly off your bill, then the application must be in by November 1st.
Okay. That was a lot of important information.
A lot.
A lot of important information.
And I hope I didn't go too fast. But please feel free to call the assessor's office, 978-540-2412 or 2414 during the week and get any more assistance that you might need.
Well, I think that's the important piece to tell everybody is that there are probably people who can get some of these deferrals or exemptions and should go to the assessor's office and find out.
Correct.
Ask there or at the EHS office too. They'd
Right.
be able to help. Well, that was very good. Thank you, Anita. You did a great job.
You're welcome.
I have a next guest, Ashley Sheehan, who is the Director of Elder and Human Services. And she's very excited to give you an update on how we can hopefully offer some limited indoor EHS programming starting in December. Ashley?
Thank you, Anita and Susan, for having me on as a guest for your monthly highlights show. I appreciate being here and sharing some updates with the community. Starting in December, we will be offering very limited indoor programming in the multipurpose room of Town Hall. We must be conscious of the physical health and safety for our participants and fellow Town Hall staff. Our plan is to slowly, steadily welcome back programs and to safely bring you back together. In order to make this happen, we need your cooperation and support. If you are not feeling well, please stay home. Masks will be required, and if you do not have one will be provided. With strict guidelines on limited program attendance, all participants must pre-register for programs included in the December broadcaster. Registration opens on December 1st, and programs are open until filled. The phone line opens at 9 a.m., and we will not accept any registrations before 9 a.m. Please do not leave a message, as you must confirm your registration with a staff member. In addition to pre-registration, you will be asked to complete a health screening form and waiver. An electronic submission is made available online per program. Given participation limitations, priority will be given to Littleton residents, and out-of-town guests will be placed on a wait list and welcomed if space becomes available. Participants are encouraged to arrive only 5 minutes prior to the start of the program and are asked to enter through the main entrance of Town Hall, as you will find your socially distanced spot in the multipurpose room. After the program, kindly exit through the door near the diner for one-way traffic. Please do not linger before or after in the multipurpose room. We are taking measures to be cautious, and if new health concerns arise, we could be asked to cancel programs. We hope to see you in person. However, if you do not feel comfortable participating indoors, please continue to stay connected through our virtual programs, grab-and-go events, and watching programs made available on LCTV. If you have other program ideas, we would love to hear them. Thank you again to all those who completed the questionnaire on the back page of the November newsletter. We are making future program plans based on those results. I also wanted to share with you an update on the Senior Tax Work-Off Program. We are pleased to announce that the Select Board voted on November 9th for our department to move forward and to enroll participants into this year's program. Starting on December 7th until December 18th, we will formally open enrollment in this program. Prior participants who have expressed interest in participating in this year's program will receive their paperwork via email or notified by phone by November 30th. If you do not receive paperwork by the end of November, or if you are a new participant, please call us at our main line, 978-540-2470, to ensure that your name is on our list. Application deadline is Friday, December 18th by 12 noon via U.S. mail or drop-off at the main town office entrance. Once enrollment is complete, the Elder and Human Services Department, along with Human Resources, will match you with a department. You will receive notice of your job placement sometime in January. Please know that we will do our very best to find work for everyone involved, but all is dependent on the pandemic. I also wanted to take a moment and reiterate that the Elder and Human Services staff has been here, and we continue to be here for you. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please let us know. We want to hear from you. And lastly, on behalf of the staff, may I wish you a blessed and wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for all the good information you have shared with us today. Hopefully it will work out that we can do the programming in December, and looking forward to a much better new year.
Well, between the information from Anita and the information from Ashley, we've had a lot of good stuff today. But now on to the highlights part of our show.
In cooperation with the Reuben Hoare Library, EHS will be offering a Zoom book talk by Ashton Applewhite, author of This Chair Rocks, a manifesto against ageism, on Friday, December 4th at 10:30 a.m. The book challenges stereotypes our society has built around age and offers new ways of talking and thinking about aging. Call the EHS office 978-540-2470 to sign up and get the Zoom login. Copies of the book can be reserved online or by calling the library. The library will host a book club style discussion on Zoom Friday, December 18th, to discuss the book. Sign-ups of that will be available in early December through the library.
A new in-house EHS program is being offered. Its title is Reduce Stress and Anxiety with Healing Qigong with Dave Crocker, which will use gentle movements to help more blood and oxygen around the body, to promote healing and strengthen the immune system, improve physical and mental and emotional balance. These will be held in December on Mondays. It will be December 7th, 14th, and 21st at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The cost is $9 to be paid in advance, and registration is required because it's limited to 8 people. So call the EHS office, 978-540-2470. It's a good example of an in-house program.
And Kathy, Sue, and I are excited to be back in the multipurpose room for the Holiday Green Workshop in December. A lot of you have asked about it and wondered if we were going to be able to do it, and with much difficulty and much talk with everyone, we think we have figured out a way to do it. There is going to be restrictions. Each class will hold 8 people and 2 instructors. And you will each have your own table to sit at. Your greens and everything that you need to do your centerpiece will be on your table. There will be no getting up and walking around in the room. You will have masks on. We will provide gloves. We hope to have some other decorations available that we can bring around to your table. And these classes are going to be starting December 2nd, December 3rd, and December 4th in the multipurpose room. And they're going to run from 10 to 11:30. And on December 4th, we will also do a grab and go at the same time as the indoor class. So if you are uncomfortable coming in, you can certainly sign up for the grab and go. And we anticipate there will be probably more than 8 people in the grab and go, and that's okay. The cost is $3. And the only stipulation that's going to be a little difficult is you must call the EHS office on December 1st and talk to a person to make your reservation. And that will be phone calls starting at 9 a.m. And you will just state the date you want to come. We will fill up the dates first come, first serve. And just understand that if you're uncomfortable, we understand that, and we will certainly do the grab and go as well as we've done the last 3, and everybody seems to be happy with the grab and go way it's done. So the other thing is, I wanted to say a special thank you to Jamie at Springdale and to Larry at Donlands, because they provided the gourds that we used. Jamie provided most of them, but some of them rotted before we got to do our class, and we needed more, and Jamie didn't have any, so I went to Donlands and they generously donated the extras that we needed. So if you see Jamie or you see someone in Donlands, just say thank you. And we appreciate all the services and help that they provide us.
The grab and go craft projects have definitely been popular the last
because
2 months.
we started with 10 and now we're up to 25.
Yeah, they've been
And I
popular.
presume we'll have a lot of people for this next class.
The green one, well, that's our big one for the year anyway.
That's the big one for the year. So the other thing is, if you have a dish or a pot that you would want to make your centerpiece in, please bring it. We will have the oasis and everything else, but you can certainly bring your own container, something you used last year or whatever.
Another very popular program before COVID was Bill Vale's computer classes. He held them in the building. He's going to try to continue doing them on Zoom. He has some tentative dates of Thursday, December 10th and the 17th. They will be from 10:30 to noon. Check the broadcaster, which should be out early December, for further information on his classes. There are other in-house and virtual programming, quite a few virtual program activities for December. So again, check your broadcaster. It should be out early December for more information on those.
Thank you for watching our show today. We have given you a lot of information, and we hope it's all useful for you.
We enjoyed having a guest this week, or this month, and one last month too. If you have any suggestions for any other topics that you would like more information on, that we could have a guest help us with, please call the EHS office and give us your ideas. We'd wish everybody a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and see you next month.